what would happen if Brawl Stars just got deleted tomorrow out of nowhere? Well, Supercell would lose half of their income, millions of players would probably be freaking out, and it would most likely be the top headline around the world. And there is just so much more that is possible, and we're going to be going over all of those possibilities in this video, so let's get right into it. First of all, we just have to look at exactly how big Brawl Stars even is, as that is a pretty big factor. This is currently one of the biggest mobile games in the world, and it has over 500 million downloads, which is an insane number. This means that over 6% of the entire global population has played this game, and I'd estimate over 10% have heard about it, and the percentages would just increase if we factored out everyone that was either too young or too old for them to reasonably have heard about this game. This means that when you go out in public, there is a strong chance that most people you interact with know about the game, especially if you are still in school or something. They have over 20 million subscribers on YouTube and average tens of millions of views a video, and they managed to hit #1 trending with pretty much every new video. And they are now collaborating with some of the biggest brands and characters out there, and it is clear just how much of a cultural impact the game has had, and that just means there would be big things that would happen if the game was to randomly be deleted. For the sake of this video, let's assume that Brawl Stars got deleted by some hackers and Supercell had nothing to do with it. If that was the case, then Supercell would be freaking out for a bunch of different reasons. First of all, Brawl Stars is their highest earning game currently, with it making close to half the monthly revenue of the company. That is just insane, and it would be a massive blow if the game were to just get deleted, because it would basically mean that Supercell would lose half of their income, which is bad for pretty much anyone. There is a chance that some of the big shareholders in the company will sell their shares, and that would just bring down the value of the company, and there would be a ton of problems when it came to ongoing deals and partnerships between Brawl Stars and other companies or brands, such as the current SpongeBob partnership. There would probably be a lot of angry people involved in that partnership because it most likely involved millions of dollars, and that would also go with any potential deals or partnerships that could be getting worked on right now. This would just make things harder on Supercell, as they would have a lot of people to answer to, including themselves, because they needed to figure out how Brawl Stars got deleted. But outside of that, Supercell would be facing immense pressure from the outside as well, because they would have to try and answer all the questions that millions of people will be asking in relation to the deletion of Brawl Stars. The community managers of the game would just be getting flooded with messages asking what's going on, and that would just be very overwhelming. This would be the top news across all of social media, and it would also most likely make news headlines around the world because of just how big Brawl Stars was, and all of this attention could possibly even involve the government of some kind as they investigate how something so big happened. Because if a massive game was able to be deleted out of nowhere, that could be a sign that there was some new and really strong hack that could possibly lead to even bigger issues on a national level. So that is definitely quite an extreme thing that could happen, but let's take it back a notch and move to something a bit more directly tied to the game and more predictable. So the first thing will just be with the esports scene, which is absolutely massive for Brawl Stars, and it is so big that it is even a career for multiple people. The Brawl Stars official tournaments pay out near $2 million each year, which is just crazy, and that number would probably be even higher for 2024 due to how big the game has gotten. But outside of that official money, there are still millions that come in from things like sponsorships and content, and that is also a big factor we will talk about in a second. But when it comes to the esports, you will basically just have all of the esports teams that would be ruined since their game just got deleted. This would mean those players essentially wasted thousands of hours playing the game and practicing, and now there is very little they could do. Their livelihoods would just essentially be destroyed in the blink of an eye, and they would most likely have to completely switch career paths unless they decided to dedicate a ton more time into becoming a pro player for some other game. But another similar problem would be for all of the YouTubers that have Brawl Stars as their main game. Out of all the Supercell games, Brawl Stars definitely has the most creators and biggest YouTube presence, with people regularly being able to get millions of views on their videos. And this means there are tons of Brawl Stars YouTubers that actually rely on the game to survive, as it is their full-time job, and the deletion of the game could just heavily jeopardize that. But when it comes to the creators, most of them at least have the ability to pivot to another game or to some other content, and it wouldn't be as bad of a situation when compared to the pro players, but it would still be a pretty big deal. I mean, in the short run, the deletion of the game would definitely lead to these creators getting a ton of views, but in the long run, it wouldn't be good. This would also just disrupt YouTube, since that would mean millions of daily views would essentially disappear for Brawl Stars, and I have no idea what effect that would have. But overall, when it comes to the content side, that is also just millions of dollars getting evaporated, which is crazy to think about. And so far, we have just seen how the impact of Brawl Stars getting deleted would be massive, especially with the financial side of it, but I also really do want to focus a bit more on the social side, since that is really important and arguably even more important than the money side. There would most likely be a ton of memes that get created around this, because that is just what happens nowadays whenever something big happens, regardless of whether it is a good or a bad thing. The Brawl Stars subreddit would most likely just be filled with either memes or some deep posts, and there would be nothing in between. The Discord server would most likely just get muted, since I can assume it would be extremely hectic and people would be spamming the same thing over and over again. And this could also affect the other Discord servers for the other Supercell games, as people would invade those servers to ask the same questions. And I'm not sure what would happen on Facebook, because even though there is a big community on there, I don't know how many people actually use it regularly. But outside of social media, this would also most likely be a big deal just with people talking with each other, especially at school. Depending on the school, there is a chance that classes could be disrupted because people won't be able to stop talking about the deletion of the game. But kind of on the opposite end of the spectrum, there is a chance that kids will actually do better in school because they won't be able to play Brawl Stars in class, since that has been a pretty big problem, and I know that it was a problem at my school last year. But this also brings me to another possibility, and that is with people recreating Brawl Stars or just directly ripping it off. I'm sure there will be a ton of game studios that will jump at the opportunity to create a new game that somewhat resembles Brawl Stars to try and get people to play, because it is a proven concept. So we will most likely see a bunch of clones popping up within days and weeks of Brawl Stars getting deleted. But another thing is also private servers, since I'm sure those are going to absolutely explode in popularity, as that will be the only way people can actually play Brawl Stars. Private servers aren't owned by Supercell, and you can actually get banned for playing on them. However, that wouldn't be an issue if the whole game itself got deleted, as you couldn't get banned from something that doesn't exist. So we will most likely see a massive rise in the amount of people playing on the private servers for Brawl Stars, and there could even be a chance that Supercell themselves try and work with the private servers in order to recreate Brawl Stars and get the game back up and running officially, though it wouldn't be perfect, as people still wouldn't have their accounts or anything. But overall, it just seems like there will be a ton of chaos if the game were to be deleted tomorrow, and that is also it for this video. This was a bit of a different one from what I normally make, so let me know what you think of it down in the comments. But with that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.